Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. Who am I kidding? We're back, baby, with more weekly Smash Bros. Updates. Thank God, it's about time. In fact, I did the math, it's been 1,289 days since our last official Smash Bros. Update for Wii U and 3DS, starring, of course, Denver the Dinosaur. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back and watch the episode, it all makes sense. So we're back with the usual crew, Derek and Ash, but a new addition this time, a newcomer, if you will, being John. So how are you doing, John?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to finally be a part of these. Right?
I think a lot of people have been waiting for us to get back together and talk about Smash every week. And if my math is correct, which there's a very good chance it isn't because it's after E3 and I'm bad at math to begin with, there should be 25 of these up until launch. So just to clarify, Nintendo announced that they have the Smash Brothers blog now, where they'll be adding updates. They didn't give an exact schedule, but so far there seems to be an update, at least an update per day. It seems like maybe 2 or more per day, including some updates in Japan that aren't posted on the US side. So we'll be covering it all for the most part, as long as it's somewhat interesting. And yeah, so I guess before we get into the specific daily updates, guys, what do you think about being able to talk about this game every week again, if not more in the case of big updates like stages or characters?
There was a palpable excitement among all of us once we realized, oh crap, there's a blog and they posted something about this. Does that mean they're actually going to get their weekly updates back? Are we finally going to be able to do this show again? Oh please, oh please, oh please. And so we were watching like a hawk the second day for whenever it would actually happen. And when it did, it was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do this. Because so many people we talked to discovered us because of our Smash Brothers for 3DS and Wii U weekly updates and discussions. So it feels good to have these back.
Yeah, I am over the moon hyped. This is something I've been waiting for a long time, especially just because I personally and specifically am so into Smash. And even more than, you know, many other upcoming Nintendo Switch games or Nintendo's franchises in general. I'm all about Smash. I so enjoyed doing those weekly updates, and I've been waiting for them to come back, and this is actually one of my E3 predictions, and sometimes I'm you know, hope I'll get something wrong. This was one prediction I'm so happy that I got right, being the fact that they opened up a new SmashBrothers.com and are starting to do daily updates again. So excited. I've been ready for this for months, if not more, you know, a couple of years now, and I just can't wait. Let's just jump right in.
And we've been getting tweets like every couple of hours from people just asking, like, when are we going to start doing these again? When are we going to get our impressions on Smash? So yeah, it's going to be amazing just to finally jump in and just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for this, as you all said. That's what kind of put us on the map, I feel like, were our weekly updates, and we are finally back to cover it all once again. And this time it should be a little bit interesting, I think. So before with Smash 4, we actually waited for I think 6 months until we started doing the updates because there was like nothing to cover. But now, we are 6 months from launch, right? If not, I think even a little bit under that. Which means we're going to be getting, I think, a lot of big updates on a very compressed time schedule. So this should be a little bit more exciting, I think, than starting off initially.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Especially if, I mean, John, you worked your butt off while we were at E3 tracking down all the stages and whatnots, and we discovered, what, 83, 84 at this point?
We're at 84 now with Final Destination in there.
That is an insane amount.
Yeah.
How are they going to cram in 84 stages to talk about in 6 months? I mean, you drop like 10 stages a day, basically, or a week, I guess.
Well, and that's also kind of what's exciting, is I doubt they'll cram all those stages in there, and they'll probably only have time to cover, part of them, but part of those may be ones that we haven't found or that haven't been just randomly hinted at in screenshots or character trailers or all the other media released thus far. So, you know, we know that some of the updates we're going to get are stuff that we've already found ourselves, but some of it may not be. So we really don't know what to expect. And kind of as you were touching on, Andre, this is, even though we've done this before, this is such a truncated hype phase that we're really, you know, only 25 of these to release, presumably, and it's really like all being peppered out through half a year. So even though we've done this before, it's still kind of a different setup and a different hype phase, really. So
right,
we don't really know what to expect, and yeah, we may get stuff that we've already found ourselves, and we may get stuff that we haven't. So it's just exciting to be here again.
Yeah, there's some things that are already different about this, such as we straight up asked Bill and Nate, you know, if there's any kind of schedule for the updates, as there was loosely for Smash 4, where they would always drop sometime at night for us. Like, you know, I think between 9 p.m. to midnight, as I recall. There were some late nights, as I remember. But here, there seems to be...
I remember being up till 5 a.m.
Yeah, there were a few 2 a.m., 5 a.m. updates.
But in this case, there seems to be no set schedule, and we're also getting updates on Saturday, again, at least in Japan. So I don't know if that's going to apply to us here in the States, but, you know, or English speakers, I should say. So I guess we'll find out. On that note, let's just go ahead and launch into it. Let's stop wasting time. On the 12th, so Tuesday, the first day, so we'll have Mondays from here on out, presumably. But the first update about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was it's coming out on December 7th. So we already touched on this in our main update about the game, or our main discussion about the game. But let's go ahead and hit on it again real quick. That's way later than I was expecting. I think we were all expecting it to hit closer, or if not day and date with the online service. December 7th is pretty much like the last possible time they could release it within the time frame they gave, being this year.
I actually kind of wish I'd stuck with my original prediction, because I was the holdout for a while, saying, okay, well, I still think it's going to drop in November. I still would have been wrong, but I would have been slightly less wrong. But I don't know, I thought it was going to be on Nintendo Day, and then when Pokemon Let's Go was announced for, you know, the typical November 18th, 21st, around-ish time slot, I figured, well, you know, maybe Derek's onto something. Maybe, you know, maybe it's going to be September. So I actually changed my prediction. And yeah, I mean, either way I would have been wrong, but I wasn't expecting December either. Like, I thought it would be no later than November.
I never expected Smash to be the one to get the Xenoblade slot for the year. It just never occurred to me. I always thought they would get it out before Thanksgiving, before Black Friday. And with the online coming, I was like, well, they probably need a big online game for their launch, so it just made so much sense to me that Smash would come out in September. So when I saw that December 7th release day, I was like, well, I was definitely wrong. But
I guess with Fire Emblem being 2019 now, though, they kind of need to space their releases out a bit more, so maybe that's kind of why they did it. But yeah, as you guys say, September would have been perfect to launch with online, because at the moment, I guess we have, well, Fortnite's already out, and I guess Dragon Ball Fighters is that a September game, or is that just summer at the moment?
I can't remember offhand.
Yeah.
It's funny when you're in the middle of it. Sometimes a lot of details just fly over your head.
I think it's fall. I think it is fall. I don't know if it's specifically September, but I think it is fall.
I don't think that'll factor in anyway. I don't think Nintendo particularly cares too much about third-party release dates. But I do wonder if part of it is like, hey, this is the ultimate version of Smash. Sakurai needs literally all the time he can get. So,
I mean, I'm sure that's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, look at how much content seems to be being stuffed into this game. So it does make sense that Sakurai would need every last day that he can get.
Right.
And I'm honestly not too upset about it not coming out in September, because there was already so many games launching in September that it's like, how am I going to play these? Because we're not going to cover all of them because they're not all Nintendo games. But hey, December's nice and open with not too much going on. I'm totally down with that.
Fun fact, this is the latest in the year any Smash Brothers will have launched. The only other one that came close was Super Smash Bros. Melee, which launched on December 3rd in the United States. It launched earlier in Japan, so yeah, pretty interesting.
And it was almost Brawl. As I recall, Brawl originally had a December release date after its initial delay. And then
December
it was delayed
3rd.
again. Yeah.
I remember that vividly.
Right, me too. I remember the crushing disappointment I felt that blog update, the Smash Dojo update. Yeah. So I think then it got delayed until like what, February was it, or
March, I believe.
March. Okay.
What did help though was I worked at IGN at the time, and they imported a Japanese Wii along with Super Smash Bros. Brawl, so we were able to play it quite a bit earlier than the US.
Oh, nice.
US version, and that was fun.
Europe got Brawl in like September of that year or something like that. That was a weird delay for
You had
that.
to wait a long time.
Oof.
Man, that's harsh.
Yeah, man, if they did that now, there'd be so many new Japanese accounts created.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Another update from the 12th was simply pointing out that posting the trailer showing all the returning challengers, I should say. So we're not going to go through all that. We touched on it earlier, and that would take us forever if we did this time. The next update was posting the Ridley Hits a Big Time trailer. Figured we'd talk about this real quick, even though we also touched on it before, but it's just a single fighter in this case. I rewatched it right before this discussion, and I still love that reveal. I just love like how dark and menacing it is. Like how Mario just gets speared. Like Mario just might be gone from the game now. It looks like he just got murdered in that trailer.
It's so fitting for Ridley though. Like he's this wild beast, and to see him like alongside Ganon and Bowser, who are also evil, but they're not quite like him. Like Ridley's just this murderous, bloodthirsty beast, and it's amazing that it's showcased so well, not only in the trailer but in the actual game itself.
Yeah, Ganondorf seems Ganondorf seems downright friendly by comparison.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. No, they really captured Ridley's just raw brutality in this trailer, and I think it's just, as you said, Andre, it's just funny because it's straight up it's not even like Mario's been KO'd. He's just straight up dead. And same with
Mega
Mega Man. I mean, I'm just happy to see, you know, Mega Man in yet another trailer, which is awesome. But it was just funny because it's so brutal. Straight off the bat, Mega Man gets impaled, and then Mario just gets straight up killed. And it's like, yep, that's Ridley, straight up just brutal.
So I'm totally picturing the scene from Alien where the android got, you know, bisected, and he's like coughing up the white goo that is his blood, and I'm just imagining Mega Man like that.
So violent.
But no, it's an excellent trailer. It really got in the mood. You knew exactly who they were going to introduce as soon as that setting was shown. Samus was there, got Ridley in there, and it did so well about just it. Really did invoke the same sort of vibes that you got from Smash Wii U. Granted, a lot more brutal than Smash Wii U. Yeah. But granted, Mega Man did try to kill Mario with the metal blades right off the bat, so there you go. Glad they worked out those differences to work together.
Yeah, I
help Samus.
I also liked how it paid homage to the relationship between Samus and Ridley, but in a cool way, and like in a neutral way, and not in an other Samus is going to have a mental breakdown randomly way. Like, she's like, okay, you get that little moment where Samus is like, oh crap, it's Ridley, but she's not scared, she's just bracing herself, you know?
Well, she's been through
really
it like
cool.
3 times before.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So I appreciated that we got that, but not in that awful other M way.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And hey, we're up to 4 villains now with Wolf coming back as well.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, I almost forgot Wolf. Yeah, I guess Wolf does count as a villain, so yeah, that's pretty cool. And I guess real quick, Derek, as you kind of touched on, I do like how they're maintaining the the kind of like Wii U style of trailers for the character reveals. It seems, including thematically, like, because even Wii U seemed kind of dark, as you mentioned, like with Mega Man kind of like murdering or trying to murder Mario and Link, and then you had like Bowser Jr. and his Armada or whatever. My only hope is that these aren't, like in that case, replacing proper story mode cutscenes, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This was a lot shorter than the Smash Wii U trailers generally. Like, this is only a couple of, maybe like a minute long, the CG trailer. Whereas I'm pretty sure most of the Smash Wii U ones were a lot longer. So yeah, maybe this does mean that we could potentially have more budget going to actual in-game cutscenes.
That'd be nice.
I kind of get the sense that we're still not going to get story mode cutscenes. Like, I don't think we're going to get any sort of subspace emissary type thing, and I think the fact that we're continuing to get these reveal cutscenes kind of points toward that fact. Obviously, I do think we're going to get more like a new single-player thing, but I think it'll be more like adventure mode, something like Melee-style adventure mode, and not something that's going to be reliant on actual cutscenes.
What about like a CG intro, like Melee? Because both Brawl and Smash Wii U were compiled of different cutscenes from the game, so what if we had an entirely new piece just for the intro?
That would be really cool.
I hope so. I don't think it could be the ultimate version without it, honestly. I always thought the kind of mashed together trailers or the openings for Wii U and Brawl, that felt like a little bit lazy, I suppose, or that's not the right word, but you know what I mean, like a little bit cheap, I suppose. Like they couldn't construct a new opening like Melee's amazing opening. Although I suppose, Melee's opening was also kind of the reveal trailer in a way, because that's what they showed off at E3 2001. So maybe it's not all that different, actually.
Maybe, but it's also like back in 2001, those type of trailers weren't actively available a lot.
That's true.
Because I know I'd never seen it before.
It would be cool, since Smash Ultimate is essentially building on top of Smash 4 roster-wise. It would be cool if we got like an intro for Smash Ultimate that combined everything, like combined all the CG trailers going back to Villager and Mega Man and Wii Fit Trainer, all the way back, all the way up through Ridley and whichever other newcomers are still coming.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, where we got 4 music previews. That's pretty cool. I didn't expect music previews like basically right off the bat, but here we are, still on the 12th, and we got early looks at the main theme song for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, on top of a new Brinstar Depths Vega's theme from Street Fighter, and the new Breath of the Wild trailer theme, which is apparently in the game. So I guess let's go ahead and touch on the main theme first, and maybe it's just me, I don't want to be like a wet blanket here. I'm not quite feeling this main theme yet. It's not bad, it's okay, but it's not hyping me up like the others have. Like, I mean, especially Brawls, I thought that was amazing, but even Wii U's I thought was great. This one feels a little bit more understated, I suppose.
I'm right there with you, actually. Yeah, I when I'm hearing it in the context of watching like the reveals and the direct and everything, yes, I like it a lot, or it definitely gets me going. But kind of in a vacuum and just listening to it on its own, I agree with you, Andre. It doesn't quite do it for me. It doesn't have that hook there that Brawl's main theme, and especially for me, Smash 4's main theme. As much as I love Brawl's theme, I think Smash 4's is my favorite, and this one just doesn't have that same hook that those songs do. I think it'll grow on me, but I'm there with you, Andre. It's not quite doing it for me yet.
So I have listened to it like 25 times, but
nice.
But that doesn't mean that I necessarily love it. It's kind of like the same 9 notes on repeat, and it gets very repetitive after maybe just like a minute of listening. Even though I've listened to it too many times, but yeah, it does get very repetitive, and I think hearing that within all the menus and within Battlefield and within all of these other contexts, it will maybe get a little bit too grating.
Right.
I could see that. The problem with me is I've only heard it a few times, but it just isn't staying in my head. Like, I can't easily recall it, even though I listened to it before we did this discussion. I'm like, what is it again? I can't quite remember, and I have a vague notion, but it's not quite staying there. Now, granted, this is marked as the E3 2018 version, so this is not the final version. We could definitely see some sort of revised arrangement for it, or something that actually sticks out and works for us a little bit better. I'm not discounting it immediately, and there's still something appealing about it. It's just not exactly an immediate reaction like, oh my god, this is so good.
One thing I actually find particularly interesting about this is that even though he's not a completely unknown name, Hideki Sakamoto is not a name that I'm particularly familiar with. I've been looking up his gamography, and he's got kind of a random resume. I mean, he composed Yakuza 2 and 3, and also very randomly Castlevania Judgment for the Wii. So this is a really kind of a random resume that Sakamoto has, but I mean, we've seen what happens when Nintendo takes chances on relatively unknown composers, like what we got with Breath of the Wild being composed by Animal Crossing's composer. Like, it works out for them often, but it's just an interesting choice, that's all.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to, I guess we can cover the next 3 in whatever order we want. Like, whatever appealed to you, let's talk about it. Brinstar Depths, for me, I actually really like this arrangement, even though I think I'd still give the edge to Melee's version, but I like what I'm hearing here. It also sounds a little bit understated by comparison, I think, but I think it works in this case.
I like it. I like that it leads with the violin, and then it kind of goes into this harder style, like guitar shredding.
Right.
It's kind of like a cool transformation, I think.
This was probably my favorite of the songs, honestly. It really did a lot for me, and I don't know, like, I'm a Metroid fan to begin with, and hearing that rearrangement, it just, I don't know, worked really well.
Yeah, my favorite Metroid tracks are the ones that start off kind of soft and then get a bit more like bit more harder as it goes on. Like Zero Mission's main theme is this really relaxing opening, and it gets all dark with the actual the theme from the original Metroid and Super Metroid. And this reminds me a lot of that, just starting off with the violin and then getting way harder. So yeah, it's a great theme.
It reminded me of the track I chose to portray Clocktown in our top 10 songs of Smash 2 in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like, I loved how that started off slow and then turned into something intense at the end. So I agree with you.
Which, who knows, you may get what you want. I mean, we know Great Bass coming back, so
gotta
who knows?
hope. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
And there was no actual Majora's Mask music for that stage, so what the hell?
That's true.
That.
I think it didn't have the term.
Or it did have one song. That's right.
Yeah,
there was one track.
Yeah.
One track
Still.
across the entire series.
Exactly.
I mean,
Majora's Mask.
speaking of that, John has found that many, 84 stages. Think how much music has to be in this game.
Oh man, it's gonna be a lot. We have a lot of music to talk about, I feel like, with these music previews, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
Next up, Vegas theme. I love this. I'm not even a huge Street Fighter guy, and I loved what they did with this track here. It's very different than what I expected, and it's perfect.
This is the one I can't get enough of this initial 4. I can't get enough of this. I've listened to it on repeat so many times. You guys know I am a huge Yoko Shimomura fan. I love when she rearranges her own soundtracks, and I just love this take on Vegas theme, or as Japanese Street Fighter fans might want to call it, Claw's theme. Either way, I'm loving this. I just thinking about all the music updates we have to go from here, it's getting me so excited, and I could go on forever, so I'm not, and I'm going to let someone else take it away.
This discussion's already going to run long as is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to cover.
That's exactly
this
why.
bit.
Yeah.
I liked Smash Wii U's Street Fighter selection, but this just knocks all of that out of the water. Like, this just stands so much higher than any of those two.
It does.
It's really, really good.
I can just echo you guys at this point. It's so good.
You're an Echo fighter, Derek?
Yeah, now I'm an Echo fighter.
All right, finally we had the Breath of the Wild theme, and I don't have much to say about this because even though it's a rearrangement, it really just sounded like the trailer theme to me, which is fine. That was good.
I don't think this is the trailer
Oh,
theme.
okay, well
I don't
the
think
theme
it
or
is.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so
this
the main
is just
theme
the
just
main
sped up
theme.
quite a bit, I think, just to get into the meat of the song a little faster because it's more appropriate for a fighting game.
That could be.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the trailer themes then? I swear to God, I heard
It was. They reused
was.
it for Dark Beast Ganon at the end, so
Right.
it's very similar. And I think this is kind of based off Dark Beast Ganon's one, where it's a bit
I see.
faster, because obviously the trailer one has more build-up. So yeah, I think this is
Right.
kind of based off that.
That makes sense. I'm excited to hear what all other music they have from Breath of the Wild. Well, I mean, granted, there's not like a whole lot. Well, there is a whole lot, but there isn't at the same time with that game. I just need Hyrule Castle in there. All right, that's all I need.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
that
it
one for
needs
sure.
it.
I'm hoping the one that I picked for our 10 songs to Smash 2 video, just the basic Blight Ganon theme. Any one of the four would be fine. I just want that basic Breath of the Wild boss theme in there because I love that the way Ganon's theme is woven into it. It's just so good.
I want the final. I want the DLC temple or Divine Beast
Yeah.
in there. I love that track.
Ooh.
That
That
was
would
a
be
really good one.
It
Yeah.
was super good.
Cass has to show up in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on from music to another update from the same day. We're still on Tuesday, Jesus, for the fact that apparently all Smash 4 amiibo will be supported in this game. I'll go ahead and loop in the next update too. As part of this, or will be supported in the game, I should say. And as part of this, they announced that Inkling Girl and Ridley Smash amiibo will be coming to the game as well. And I mean, they both look pretty much exactly as you'd expect. I mean, as I'd expect them to. So I guess the real question here is, what do we expect from amiibo compatibility in this game? Because in Smash Wii U and 3DS, I believe, they were used to make, I forget what they called them, but you can make your own like little partner AI characters and
Yeah,
train
they're
them.
FPs, I think, like figure players or
Figure players? Yeah, was that it?
something, yeah, something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah, I think we got a little peek of this in the direct at one point.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think it said FP on the screen like for maybe like 2 seconds. So maybe they're just bringing that exact feature back again.
I guess
They
so.
actually did. They went into it a little bit during the Smash Direct, or I keep calling it that, the Nintendo Direct, the Smash part of it. But yeah, they went into it briefly and said it's basically the same functionality. It's you scan them in, you get figure players who fight alongside you. But they also did say that you can carry over any progress you had from figure players in Smash 4 into Smash Ultimate. So, I don't think any of us here particularly cared about this functionality and got much use out of it, but for those people who did, it's kind of cool that you don't have to lose that progress. And also, I have to appreciate, that they're basically giving you all the value you can out of whatever amiibo you've already bought, because every Smash 4 amiibo works, and every amiibo from any character's particular line also works. So, that's always appreciative.
I'm a little bit concerned, actually, because, they're probably bringing it back as part of the whole, this is the ultimate version of Smash Brothers, so let's bring it back as much as we can. Does this mean Smash Tour is back?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I hopefully that one part of Smash Tour that I know you and I both want, Andre, is back.
That's right. The ending battle where you can actually use different characters. That was fantastic.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I still think that's coming, or some mode along those lines, some kind of Switch style mode where you can switch characters. So we'll see.
Now, question for you guys: if you're going to get the Ridley amiibo, just because of how cool it looks.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
wish it was like Detective Pikachu size though. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you disappointed with how big it is, or how small it is, rather?
It is. It's kind of like it's a miniature Ridley, but I have to say, even as someone who's not, again on the record, I'm not a super hardcore Ridley fan. He looks pretty cool in amiibo form. So, even though I feel like the Inkling Girl Smash amiibo is similar enough to the Splatoon series Inkling Girl amiibo, I don't want to have both. Ridley, I might have to pick up.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird we haven't seen Daisy either.
That's
We
true.
haven't. We also need a lot more, like, of the other returning ones. We need to get a Snake amiibo. We need to get a Pichu amiibo. We're gonna get
Snake
Wolf.
amiibo.
There's a lot of other amiibo
Yeah.
we need to finish up this line.
Yeah.
You
I
know
think-
they're all going to happen though.
Exactly, they're gonna
Oh,
happen
yeah.
for sure.
The big question is whether the entire, like, everybody's gonna get a new amiibo or not, or they're just gonna focus on the newcomers for now.
Interesting point, because everyone has a new render.
Yeah.
But not all of them seem catered to amiibos. Like, there's lots of characters with renders where they're kind of hovering in the air. And I know you can put a stand under them, but the original Smash 4 line seemed like it was made to be made into a figurine in mind when they were making them. Whereas I'm not sure all of these are.
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of feel like we may eventually see maybe specific Smash Ultimate Series amiibo for specific characters, but I do think they're going to lead with, of course, the newcomers and the returning veterans who don't have amiibo yet. That would make the most sense to me.
I think what we see from Nintendo will be a good indicator of where Nintendo sees Amiibo going. If we see the entire Smash line come back, maybe there's more life in it than I thought. But I have a feeling, as Ash kind of touched on, I think we're only going to see some select new ones, if not only the ones we don't already have amiibo of. I really don't see them re-releasing the entire line, at least as new figures. So,
right.
But we'll see.
I do kind of wonder how they'll handle the Pokemon Trainer amiibo if they are going to do that. If it's going to be like a combination triple finish amiibo where it's all four of them together, or if it'll be like, you know, a set where it's a 4, I guess, where it has Pokemon Trainer, Charizard, Squirtle, and Ivysaur separately. It'd
have to be, I think it'd be a single character just because that's how it's treated in the game. You can't play Charizard independently, so it'd be a single amiibo with all of them around it. So.
And that would be really
When you're
cool
playing
too.
with your AI amiibo character, though, that means they wouldn't be able to swap character of their individual. So if you're trying to train up Squirtle, he lacks his down B move if in that case.
That's a good point.
Right. Thanks, John. You got my back on this.
I don't know. I'm curious what it is. I also hope if the Pokemon Trainer does get an amiibo, that Leaf gets her own amiibo as well. We got a player 2 amiibo for that one.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, let's move on to what is, of course, the biggest update of the day, being the fact that the game is fully compatible with GameCube controllers. Hell yes! I know we were all expecting this. I remember when when this was revealed for the Wii U one, like we gave it its own entire discussion because it deserved it. Because you know, I mean, for as fine as the game felt playing with the Pro Controller at E3, it still didn't feel quite right, and that's because Smash was made to be played with the GameCube controllers, even if the first game wasn't. No, I mean, I think Smash. I mean, I just can't really imagine playing these games without the GameCube controllers. It just doesn't quite feel right to me.
No, I completely agree, and I do like how during the direct when this was announced, it was basically controller porn, and like the GameCube controller is the only controller that could get away with a controller porn type presentation because it was just like the close-ups and the slow motion. It was ridiculous, but it's the GameCube controller and for Smash, so it's completely warranted. And I do like that they're going to release a new Smash branded GameCube controller alongside the game. I think that's really cool, and yeah, it didn't quite feel right on the Pro Controller at E3, although I do credit some of that. Obviously, yes, the GameCube controller is the way to play Smash, but I do credit some of why Smash Ultimate felt so weird at E3 was because who maps grab to L? Who does that?
Yeah, seriously.
Who
that is
does
weird.
that? It just drove me crazy.
It's for that exact reason that for the first several matches, I didn't even try grabbing at all.
Yeah,
like,
me
with
neither.
Link, after I tried Champion Link, I'm like, oh, I didn't even check his grab and see what they changed that to.
Yeah, no, like I'm usually so heavily reliant on grab combos with Mega Man, but I wasn't even grabbing because I'm like, how do you do this with L? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do have one very small issue with the GameCube controller adapter for Switch.
Be careful here, John. You're treading on.
I know. But the Switch only has 3 USB ports, and the GameCube adapters take up 2.
Right.
So if you're doing 8-man Smash, one of the controller sets can't have vibration.
Right.
That's true.
Right. I mean, I don't use vibration that much, so
Yeah, I don't think it's a
it's
loss.
a huge issue.
Especially especially because they wouldn't have, or presumably even the new GameCube controllers wouldn't have HD Rumble. And I feel like old Rumble is like so crude by comparison now. I don't think I'd miss it that much. I mean, I use Waybirds primarily anyway, so
That's a
I'm
good
already
point.
used to not playing without Rumble.
Right.
Although I have to say, you know, as somebody who does appreciate HD Rumble a lot and actually would miss it, I have to say it would be really cool, and for me would be worth a separate purchase if that new Smash Edition GameCube controller they're releasing actually does have HD Rumble, because Smash Ultimate has it and you can feel it and it's really cool. So I actually would go out of my way to buy that if it has HD Rumble functionality in the new controller.
I might try to get that one anyway, just because I only have 3 actual GameCube controllers. I got a
nice.
third-party one back in the day, so for the longest time I only had 1 regular GameCube controller, and just had to make do. But yeah, to actually have a full set of 4 now, after all these years, yeah, I'm down for that.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Party at Derek's place.
Perfect. Celebrate the new house.
Yes.
You guys all got to come visit.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, moving on. They had to post about Sakurai appearing at Treehouse Live. I don't think any of us, except for possibly John, watched it, so I don't think we have.
I actually missed that as well. So
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much covering afterwards. There's just no time.
Yeah, so we don't have too much to say about that. So let's move on to a new assist trophy, which is a final update for Tuesday. Dear God, we're still on Tuesday. The Squid Sisters are in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as an assist trophy, where they appear on their Splatfest stage and put on a concert, which causes the screen to zoom in on them in a final or in a sudden death style thing, where it basically shrinks the KO zone, right? So you can easily, more easily get KO'd and go off screen.
Yeah, it's another example of a assist trophy that manipulates the camera in some way, but it works for them. Like, of course, all the attention's going to go on these two, and everybody focusing on them. And I don't know, it's simple, but it really works. Plus, you get a concert by Callie and Marie, which I'm always down for.
Right.
Yeah, I actually love this assist trophy. I've always loved assist trophies that mess with the camera or your view of the playing field in some way, kind of like the Nintendo assist trophy, which is also back. I love those kinds of assist trophies, and this one's so appropriate for them because, again, as Derek just said, they're the Squid Sisters. It's Callie and Marie. Of course the focus is going to be on them, and I just love the idea that it just adds to the chaos already, that's already happening, right? It's like you can't help but laugh when there's already chaos going on. You're already trying to survive, and yet the camera's just slowly focusing in on the Squid Sisters, who could not give less of a crap about anything else going on, and it's great.
It's pretty fitting, yeah. I'm considering they have whole concerts for it in Japan, so...
Yeah.
Do we know if these guys play the same song each time as well?
Well, that's a good one. Well, they do in the game, right? I guess what they do in the hub, they do, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's the same song each time.
Okay.
And I do wonder, I mean, I can't help but, actually, when my wife saw this, and we were rewatching the Direct together, my wife saw that, and she's like, I mean, that's great, Squid Sisters, but, where's Pearl and Marina? Because she loves Marina, as do I. And I kind of feel like they've got to be in the game somewhere, right? I don't know if it'll be as an assist trophy, but maybe as a regular trophy, but I feel like you can't have the Squid Sisters without Pearl and Marina at this point.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe, I mean, do we think that this is the only Splatoon stage, Mori Towers? Or maybe we'll have, what's the plaza from Splatoon 2 called? These,
Square, right? Inkopolis Square?
The Square, yeah.
Square,
so
yeah.
What if that's a stage as well as Mori Towers, and they appear in that one?
I kind of think there will be more than one Splatoon stage.
Yeah, Inklings are so huge and so popular. I could definitely see that, like, them get a second one, especially since it does seem odd that a Splatfest type stage was not represented by them. Maybe it'll be an appropriate, like, I don't think Miiverse stage is coming back, so this would be a good replacement.
Plus, and I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but I don't think a major Nintendo IP has ever debuted in a Smash game with only one stage. I mean, and I say major, yes, there are exceptions like Game & Watch. Mr. Game & Watch debuted with one stage, but I think you could argue that that's not necessarily a major Nintendo franchise by today's standards. So I do think it would be kind of strange to have Splatoon, which is ostensibly an A-grade franchise now. It pretty much always was, really. Yeah. To debut with only one stage in Smash. I really do think we'll see at least one more Splatoon stage.
I agree with that.
To go back to your Miiverse suggestion there, Derek, how cool would it be if they did bring it back and they just use like all the most famous Miiverse quotes ever? So you have like, why can't Metroid crawl? Beautiful water, all that stuff, just sprinkle all around.
Just go through and find all the best art. That would be really cool, actually.
That's a good idea. I like that a lot.
I want so badly for a Miiverse element to return in any stage. Obviously, the Miiverse stage isn't gonna come back for clear reasons, but I want so badly for that fan art, fan-driven element to come back just because of the chaos that ensued because of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, they could just pull directly from Splatoon 2.
That as well. I mean, you could have an Inkopolis Square stage that literally pulls from the Inkopolis Square hub in Splatoon 2, which I think would be really cool.
Right. All right, before we move on to Wednesday, there actually is another update here that came right before the Squid Sisters being the Inkling. I don't know if we need to touch on it too much. We've already talked about the Inkling so much. Right. But we talked about Ridley briefly. So, any quick thoughts about Inkling before we move on to Wednesday?
I am picking her up as one of my new mains. She's so fun to play.
She's great.
Like every time I played her during E3, I had a blast. I cannot wait to play her more.
Pretty much in agreement with Ash. I really enjoyed using her. There is something really fun about using the roller and getting enemies caught in the ink and then going back to them and smashing them. There's just a lot of utility with her and building up the extra damage. I think she's going to be a popular pick. It really seems like it.
So what was it like monitoring your ink consumption? Like, did you always have to focus on it, or did you sometimes forget and then run out of moves to use?
Oh, I definitely forgot.
I did forget once.
I forgot a couple times, and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably refill my ink. So it's not something that like you're going to worry about right off the bat, but if you, it's something you're going to have to think about for sure.
It also doesn't take that long to fill it up, because I was empty and I had it filled up within 3 seconds at the most.
So it sounds kind of like Olimar's Pikmin in a way, just having like another element to monitor while you're fighting.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I think that works very well. It's just like you got to restock real quick and now you're good to go.
Yeah, kind of almost like Rob's fuel as well, because he has like flight fuel, which you can see on his chassis now, which is one of the updates he got. But yeah, it's kind of like how some characters just have that additional layer of just you have to manage something, like Robin with his tomes and Levin sword and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, is the Inkling still able to like have trouble in any way with their Squid Jump if they don't have any ink?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know.
Oh man,
actually.
this could be a plot hole in the game.
I know, right?
I mean, I guess Squid Jumps don't require ink, so it's not a huge plot hole. But I was just curious.
Yeah,
that
you're
was one
right.
thing.
No.
The second plot hole is Inklings can swim.
Yeah, they can.
That's a great point. Oh man, this
Yeah.
game's breaking all the Splatoon lore.
Right?
All right, let's go ahead and move on to finally Wednesday, the next day. We're finally through the first day, and look, they should get a bit quicker from here because Tuesday was a bit front-loaded, but the rest of the week is not nearly as in-depth. First up, we have some pictures from the show floor of the various props they had made for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, including a massive sandbag, among others, like, I forget which Fire Emblem character's sword is there.
Marth.
Oh, Marth.
Marth's, yeah.
Marth's sword.
We also had Bayonetta's weapons, we had Peach's crown and a pillow, Mario's hat, so yeah, some neat little props. I thought they were cool, even if they didn't go to the extent that they have for past E3s, like theming the entire booth, which was a little bit unfortunate, I thought. But otherwise, I mean, the props are cool. Like, if they were up for sale, I might have been tempted to buy some of them. So
I really wanted to take that Monado home with me. That was
Right.
Yeah.
my favorite prop was like the life-size Monado. That was so cool. And I have a fun story related to that too, because I was there taking pictures of the props near the Monado and the Monado itself. And it was just like near the end of day one. So I'm just taking pictures, and a Nintendo rep comes over to me, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to play Smash?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Am I just in line without realizing?" She's like, "No, just I saw you taking pictures. You want to play?" And I'm like, I'd already played a bunch, but I'm like, okay, sure. So I got to hop the line just because I was taking picture of Smash props, and yeah, so that's my fun little story related to the Monado prop. But suffice to say, I wanted to take it home.
Mm-hmm. Also, apparently Mario's head is huge because the Mario hat was massive.
Yeah, it was.
It was a cool set. Definitely not as cool as Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, but yeah,
Right.
it did the job.
It's cool they have props for like not only the major franchises like Mario and Zelda, but also the more niche ones like you said the Monados, Xenoblade and Bayonetta. Those are the kind of franchises that don't really go all out at E3. So
They had
yeah.
a can from Hogan's Alley for Duck Hunt. It was
Which was really cool.
I wanted that. That's what the prop I wanted most. It was like, that's cool.
And I kind of like how Bayonetta, her weapons being there. It's almost like she's been grandfathered in as a Nintendo character now, because she was the only quote-unquote third-party character whose anything was represented there in those props. So
That's true.
Even though she's not technically a Nintendo character, she's almost kind of considered as one now, it feels like.
Yeah, no,
So that's
it
kind of neat.
It really does. I mean, didn't Nintendo published the last two Bayonetta games, right? So
Right.
Right.
yeah, so it makes
But
sense.
a fun little aside about this, I realized that these props all line up with a leak that happened prior to E3, like a couple of months ago. I don't know exactly when, but there was some leak that we briefly discussed about how someone had seen pictures of the show floor prior to E3, and that they showed props from the upcoming Smash Brothers. And I specifically remember they mentioned like the Monado and Bayonetta's guns and things like that. So it would seem that whatever leak that was actually based on truth.
I'm still waiting for my sandbag character.
I know.
We need a sandbag body pillow.
That'd be amazing.
That actually would be really cool.
Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next update for Wednesday, being a new item, the launch star from Mario Galaxy, where according to the description, if you touch this star, your fighter will be launched at high speed. Clever placement can lead to an easy KO, and I experienced pretty much that exact behavior
Oh, yeah.
with it. And
This thing is awesome.
I love it.
I like it a
didn't know-
lot.
I didn't know it was in the game until I actually saw it when I was playing, and yeah, it's just a fun, responsive, like super responsive weapon. Like it just shoots you. It literally just shoots you right off immediately. Yeah, just I can see that being really fun replacement, almost like the bumper in the original Smash Brothers.
That's actually exactly what I was going to say. It has the same kind of a similar effect as the bumper, and is a lot of fun in the very same way. So yeah, this is definitely an item I'll want to keep on when I'm playing with items on.
Right.
during the treehouse, they would often put the launch star right by the ledges, so whenever someone's trying to recover, they'll just go straight into the launch star and just be propelled out of the stage.
It's so good. It's such a trolly way to beat someone.
Examples.
It's a great trolling weapon, and like if you could get it placed and then smash somebody into it, oh, it feels so good seeing them get launched away or get launched across the map. It is just that perfect blend of chaotic fun.
And it's another reference to Mario Galaxy, which is an amazing, one of the more amazing Mario games, I'd say. So the more references it gets, the better. It deserves more than just a stage.
I agree. I'm already thinking about how I want to utilize this, because I already like pushing players off the top of the screen with Mega Man's air shooter. So now I want to add insult to injury by pushing them into a launch star that I placed at the top of the screen with the air shooter.
You're just making me irritated just talking about it.
Right? That's the idea.
Freaking Mega Man's, when you're using that move on the Moray Tower stage.
It's such an obnoxious way to KO somebody. It's great.
It's the worst. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Thursday. See, we're going through this a little bit quicker now. The first update of the day was the Daisy trailer. Again, something we've already touched on before, but let's go ahead and hit on it again so we're hitting all the characters, or all the new characters, I should say. In this case, though, Daisy is an Echo Fighter, one of 3, which means she's going to be extremely similar to Princess Peach. She'll look different, she may have a few small tweaks, but otherwise it's going to be pretty much the same fighter. So this was a surprise. I think this actually might be more of a surprise than Ridley, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one character is deserving of it. I don't know so much about this one. What do you guys think?
I think the fact that she's an Echo Fighter makes it more acceptable.
Yeah.
If they gave her own moveset, I don't really know what they'll pull from other than spin-off appearances, and Peach kind of does that with her smash attacks.
Right.
She has the golf club and tennis racket. But yeah, I'm not against it. I'm kind of glad that she's there, because Daisy does have fans, and she's another female character.
Plural?
Okay, Daisy does have fan, and it's great to have more female characters in Smash, because it's mostly a male-dominated roster. So yeah, the more the merrier.
No, I
honestly,
agree.
I think instead of Toad being with her, it should have been Tatanga, like a mini version of Tatanga.
That would have been really cool.
That would have made way more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because one of my problems with kind of clones, I suppose in general, not always, and they've improved a lot since, but is that like they don't really represent themselves as characters. Like look at Ganondorf for the longest time. He looked like Ganondorf. He didn't play like what I imagine Ganondorf should play like.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit. I mean, it almost seems like a little bit of a backhanded compliment when you put in a character but don't represent them as they perhaps should be. So having Daisy use Toad, I mean, actually might be all she deserves, honestly. But I don't know. It's just a little bit weird,
When you compare like Ganondorf and Captain Falcon, there is no resemblance there at all in their moves. Whereas with Daisy and Peach, Daisy's always kind of been a Peach clone. Ever since like Mario Tennis, she was most of her recurring appearance was to be another Princess Peach.
Right.
So I think it kind of makes sense for her.
Yeah. And let's be honest, one of her taunts needs to be "Hi, I'm Daisy."
You
need to be able to annoy your opponents with that quote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's like for me, that's her greatest asset to the roster is the fact that she's always going to be one of those characters that you never want to get beaten by, and that's going to make it feel even better to play Daisy and win a match because she's so obnoxious and she's just such a troll by her very nature. That I mean I think she's a fun addition to the roster in that sense, and I agree. Like if she was anything more than an Echo character, I'd be like, I don't know about this. But I mean, at this point, all kidding aside, Princess Daisy is a very popular essential clone of Princess Peach, and it makes sense to have her here. I think she definitely deserves a spot as an Echo fighter.
And it also raises the point that we only have they made this whole big thing about making it like this is an Echo fighter. We only have 3 of them, which has caused a lot of people, and I agree with them, wonder if we're going to get just a ton more Echo Fighters in order to really fill out the roster with just characters that people can play as that they've wanted.
I've seen Shadow the Hedgehog is a very popular suggestion.
Yes.
Right.
Or if it gets us Mr. L from Super Paper Mario, I'm totally down.
I do still kind of feel like the difference between an Echo Fighter and like not an Echo Fighter is still a little bit tenuous. Like I still don't quite see how I mean, yes, I know Dr. Mario has Mega Vitamins instead of Fireballs, and I know his knockback's a little different. I know his power. I get it, but
I think Bill and Nate did a pretty good job explaining it in our interview, because Dr. Mario, and maybe it's because I've gone up against someone who's a big Dr. Mario fan.
Sure.
He actually is like, I mean, for as similar as he is, he's also quite a bit different too. He has a lot of different properties.
Oh no, he totally does, and I agree. But I mean, when even like Lucina, she's considered an Echo Fighter of Marth, which makes sense. But at the same time, her properties are actually also quite different. Like she doesn't have a tipper, and the power and knockback is distributed throughout her Falchion equally. So
right, but what other differences does she have?
Well, I mean that's about it. But I'm just saying that's still pretty.
That's why she's an Echo Fighter.
Right.
Yeah, Dr. Mario has a lot more changes than just a single.
No, and you're totally right. And I just kind of wonder personally where the line is drawn. And I agree, Nate and Bill did a pretty good job explaining it. I just feel like it's just interesting. That's all. But I definitely get what you're saying.
Now, none of the Echo Fighters were available in the demo, so we don't see how they're going to be placed. Are they going to be sort of like Alf, where they're chosen along with their own character, or are they going to have their own slot? That's the other choice, because I think that's another thing that could cause Echo Fighters to be a little bit more limited, because it'll just explode the rosters as far as picking characters. But if they're just an alternate skin that you can pick in the same vein as Alf with Olimar, then I think that we could actually see quite a few Echo Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually thought it was very interesting that they didn't include Olimar or Alf in the fighter video as an Echo Fighter for Olimar. Like, why? That actually, I think, is very strange.
That's true. And also, I guess, if you look at other Smash games, Peach kind of has a Daisy ult already, where most of her colours are orange and her hair becomes more orangey. So it would make sense to replace that with Daisy, because they still got to find... Well, actually, I think they actually showed Princess Peach in her wedding costume, so that could replace that too.
True.
All right. Well, that's enough about Daisy. Let's move on to the next update for Thursday, being the fact that Zero won the Smash Invitational. So congrats, Zero. I don't know if we have too much to say about it, but I don't know if we really watched it. I know I didn't, because we were busy covering E3.
Yeah, I watched what I could from the VIP area of the Smash Invitational, just because I do like following competitive Smash, but I had pegged it that Zero had won. That was my prediction, and he did, just because he's ridiculously good at this game. And I still need to go back and watch some of his matches, though, because I'd love to see what he discovered and kind of what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. There were some very impressive techs and recoveries that happened. It got pretty close, because I forget who Zero's opponent was, but he did force a rematch, like a third thing, because he came up from the losers bracket. So yeah, it wasn't a blowout, which was cool.
That is cool. Yeah, I gotta go. I want to just rewatch the entire Invitational just to see what I missed.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the final update for Thursday, being a new Pokeball Pokemon, Alolan Vulpix. And according to the description, this Pokemon freezes fighters with icy breath. So John, you're actually working on a video that may already be up by the time this gets posted, where we show off all the Pokemon in the game. Is this one we've already seen? It
is, yes. We saw it during a Treehouse match. And it uses Icy Breath, which freezes nearby opponents. And basically, if they make contact with Alolan Vulpix, they'll just go into they'll just freeze over like an ice cube, kind of like they do in previous Smash games. But yeah, it's a great new character, and there's actually tons of new Pokeball characters, so I'm sure we'll find lots of new updates for that in the future. But yeah, Alolan Vulpix seems great so far.
It looks adorable too.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a very obvious choice from the Alolan line, because that was just an immediate fan favorite, seeing Vulpix like this, and makes complete sense that Alolan Vulpix is a new Pokemon. And I mean, it's about what you'd expect as far as its attack, but hey, it still works.
Well, and alongside Alolan Vulpix, we've also seen Lunala and Solgaleo, so we know that they're leaning heavily on Gen 7 to a degree. Or I think we've also seen Beware, so it makes sense.
Beware is awesome. I sucked that. Yeah. I sicked that on Andre, and Andre's like, "What's with this bear beating the hell out of me?"
Yeah. So no, it's really cool to see them leaning heavily on Sun and Moon. That of course being the latest generation at the time of Smash Ultimate's development. So that's no surprise there. But I agree with you guys. The first time I saw Alolan Vulpix in Pokemon Sun and Moon, I was a huge fan just because I thought, what a cool redesign, what a cool idea, and I think it's really cool to see that here as well.
I think the only other Alolan form we've seen so far is Raichu, Alolan Raichu, who sort of flies around, and so I wonder what other Alolan forms we might see as well.
Well, speaking of which, since we know Sun and Moon is being represented, it's making me wonder what Sun and Moon Pokemon are we going to see as a playable fighter, because you know there's going to be one.
Right. We know there's a new Pokemon being debuted for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, so I wonder if it might be that.
Might be that. It could also be... I think the other one is Decidueye, is the other popular choice.
I think Decidueye seems like the likeliest popular choice, but maybe Sakurai will surprise us.
I think my dreams of a Alolan Pokemon trainer have been squandered, because a lot of Pokemon trainers' ults represent all the generations of Pokemon, so it seems very unlikely that they're going to have a Alolan one now.
Yeah. I do hope we might at least get Alolan Executor, though, and no matter which stage you're on, even if it's like a stage like 4-side, which is vertically aligned, its neck still goes off the top of the screen.
Just clips through all the platforms.
Yeah, no matter where it is on the stage, no matter how tall it is, it just goes off the top of the screen.
That has to be a Pokeball Pokemon. That'd be amazing.
That'd be perfect, because as it
good.
grows off the top of the screen, like anything caught above it just gets pushed off the top of the screen, and you get an automatic star KO. I think that would be the funniest way to implement Alolan Executor.
That'd be pretty great. Alright, I think that covers it for the North American, or English updates, I should say. Sorry, John, I don't mean to exclude your whole territory. However, there were more updates on the Japanese side of things. Minor updates, I would say, nothing major, but hey, we want to be comprehensive here, so let's go over it. So on Friday, which is a little bit odd, we didn't get a Friday update for us, but on Friday in Japan, they posted a little general background information on Daisy. So I guess I was wrong. We're not done with Daisy yet. Where this post basically just explains... Oh, I want to thank, too, real quick, SourceGaming, who translated these tweets, or these updates, I should say. And it just explains, her background information, her origin being Super Mario Land. And yeah, I mean, that probably is useful, but there probably are some people out there, or a lot of people who are like, who is this person? Because she hasn't really been in a mainline Mario game ever, actually, except since Mario Land. But she has appeared in a lot of spin-offs. So yeah, any final thoughts on Daisy?
It's more that people like, oh wait, she came before tennis. That sort of idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's for the people who are like, who or what is a Sarasaland or a Tatanga. It's like, what in the world? But yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. I thought Daisy was Peach's first name for the long time, because I always called, back in the day, it'd be Princess Toadstool. So I was like, oh, her name's Daisy, because I was like, it's a princess. I thought I was working to save the same princess. And then the movie came out, and it was Daisy who's the main princess, not Peach at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see where the confusion lies, but yeah.
I think this means that we need a new game taking place in Sarasaland. Like, I think it's time.
I'd love that.
We've been away from Sarasaland for long enough. We need that part of the Mario lore, man. We need to know, what is Sarasaland? What's going on there?
I feel like the ship almost sailed on that, because Mario Odyssey would have been the perfect time to kind of bring it back.
Oh yeah, that would have been perfect.
Oh, that would have been perfect, yeah.
DLC, man.
Yeah, there we go, exactly.
Sorry, Daisy, you have no home anymore.
Ouch. And finally, there's one more Japan exclusive update about the Rage 2018 event in Japan, where Smash Bros. Ultimate will also be playable. And they posted a picture showing the controller layout, and apparently it sounds like it might be the same build as E3 2018, at least based on the fact that the same characters will be available. I don't know how much there is to say about this, but...
I mean, it gives you an idea of what exactly controls we were playing with at the demo and how it all worked. However, it is interesting that they noted that players can apparently bring their own GameCube controller if they want in order to play it that way, which wish we'd known about that, because we could have brought our GameCube controllers.
Yeah, I was like, at least Japanese players won't be forced to have to learn to grab with the L button, because the update. I was talking to PushDustIn from Source Gaming about this update this morning. And we were talking about how people can bring their own GameCube controllers, and I'm like, well, that would have been nice to be able to have that at E3, but, c'est la vie.
It's interesting they're getting more mileage out of this E3 build, and I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do like a test fire, or like a test punch like they did for ARMS and Splatoon. Maybe like a test smash or something using this build.
I don't know if they'll use this build, but I think you're definitely onto something there. I fully expect some kind of demo, because they've been doing that for pretty much all of their online games, even some offline ones, I think. So I think there definitely will be some kind of tournament online test for this game. And I can't wait. They even had the demo for the 3DS version of the game before that came out.
Right. I could see it happening. They're either going to have to be very, very, very secure with what they have in that demo, or they're going to release it very close to the release.
It's going to get data mined to hell, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They may need to make sure they have all the info out that they want immediately, because they know data miners are going to go for that as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That'll kill any kind of surprise. So in some ways, depending on how much they show and how much they want to keep away from us, or they want to surprise us with things, I don't know if a demo like that is a good idea.
No, that's a
hard
good
to
point.
say.
They would have to only do it if they're prepared to really go all in on making sure there's nothing left over in the demo data to data mine. So yeah, it's something that's definitely represents a huge risk. So if they don't do it, I think that would be the main reason why. But I kind of hope they do.
Yeah, so I think that's it, guys. I think that brings us to the end of the week. So how are you all feeling about this being, about the return of the Super Smash Bros. Updates from us?
This is a lot longer than I remember the old ones being. we
Yeah.
used to be able to crank these out in 30 minutes, but
Well, and I think going forward we will. I think because Tuesday was the big debut of SmashBrothers.com, the new SmashBrothers.com, Smash Ultimate. I think going forward it's going to look much like we did in the past, where we have these bite-sized updates every day.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
so. I'm feeling good. I'm excited. I can't wait for this game. I love that we can talk about it. I love that we have an excuse to talk about it again, seemingly on a weekly basis, if not a little bit more frequently, depending on big updates. If there's a stage or a character, as I said, we'll be right there talking about it. So
yeah, even just sitting here, just like in the moment doing it, I'm just thinking about, man, what updates are coming next week? What updates are coming the week after that? Like I'm so excited. I'm so hyped for all this. I just can't wait.
I can't wait till they start showing off more of these stages. Like, we know they're coming.
Yes.
Start showing them to us.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
can't wait.
yeah, there's gonna be. I mean, there's already a ridiculous amount of stages, and we know there's far more coming for sure.
Oh yeah,
so.
come on, Poké floats.
I
Yeah.
just want to see more N64 stages. I mean, we've only really had a
Yes.
good look at Saffron City. I know Hyrule Castle's in there, and I want to see that too, in more depth.
Bill did say that if we should take a closer look at the differences from Saffron City and 64 to this one even, and see like what all's changed. So
That's true. I just hope they bring Sector Z back from Smash 64. That's the one I've been waiting. Like, Hyrule Castle 64 is my favorite from Smash 64. They brought that back as DLC for Smash 4. We know that's coming back. Sector Z, man, that's always been my favorite Great Fox stage, where you fight on the top of the Great Fox. So I hope that's coming back.
yeah, I just want all the 64 stages to come back. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that they might be bringing back everything, and if
I
not,
think so.
if not, at least the 64 ones. But yeah, I mean, if they have all the characters there, why not all the stages? They're already 2/3 of the way there, I think.
Like, the only stage I can see getting cut is Miiverse.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where it's like, what stage? It's more of a case of what stages aren't in the game rather than what stages are in the game. Because I think we're only missing
it really
like
does seem
30
like that.
stages at the moment throughout the entirety of Smash.
That might be an interesting video, actually, just pointing out like what could be left to announce for this game. What stages aren't there yet.
And I wonder if they'd really go bring back some of the really super deep cuts, like the Electroplankton stage. Like, that was such a random inclusion in Brawl. Like, I wonder if they'd bring that back too.
Probably. I am counting on every stage to be here, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of am
Yeah.
too. But here's a real question then: does that include past versions of stages like Final Destination and Battlefield?
Jeez, imagine
Well,
that.
I
Imagine
I guess
if
we
could-
had Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, and they're quite similar stages. So yeah, I don't see why not actually. Like, why not have like Brawl on Final Destination and Melee Final Destination?
Oh man, what if we get our fighting the Polygon fighters back?
No.
Oh, that'd be so
But,
cool! Yeah, all
what if you
those
got their specific stages though that were never playable in the past.
Oh, that is true. Like the Metal Mario stage.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
really cool.
Which was
I
basically-
man.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the final stage select screen, whatever it ends up being, just thinking about it. And actually, Nate and Bill talked about that specifically in the interview, saying, like, wait till you see the stage select screen after you've unlocked everything, because there's just so much. I can't
Ridiculous
wait.
amount. Yeah, I
Oh,
can't.
I
either.
can't wait.
All right, I think we got to cut it off here. Otherwise, we could really just talk about this game forever. We're already.
We can't wait. We can't wait for like an hour.
Yeah, I know. Basically, right. But I think we're already over an hour, right, for this first discussion.
We are.
Roundabout.
My God. All right. Well, hey, you guys wanted the return of the updates. We're back, clearly, and we'll be back every probably Friday or Saturday. I think Saturday, because with the Japanese updates, but we'll see. We'll be back every week to talk more about Smash, and of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for lots more about this game beyond even these weekly updates, and everything else Nintendo as well. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Bye.